Now in its 9th season, it's Prodigy Bowlers Tour, celebrating junior bowling and elevating junior bowlers. Today, episode 187, the 2025 Kansas City Open March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. 4 teams have qualified for the TV finals, but only one can leave as the Division I champions today. Here are the 4 finalists. In the 4th position is the team of Eli Clinklin and his adult partner, Nolan Nash. They'll face the 3rd qualifiers, Sean Graham and his dad, Michael, making their first appearance on Prodigy today. The winners of that match will challenge the 2 seeds, Andrew Coleman and his adult sister, Cheyenne. And the winners of that match will bowl for the title against the tournament leaders, Caleb Conroe and his adult partner, Scott Stroff. They are just 1 match win away from becoming the team that survives the stepladder finals to emerge as the Division I champions at the Kansas City Open today and sign the coveted trophy pin on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Well, looky. We're back in Belton, Missouri at the funnest fun center around these parts, Aaron's Family Fun Center. On our last episode, you saw the Division V Championship Finals at this same Kansas City Open March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. And today, we bring you the main course, the Division I Championship Round. And for the first time since he opted to forego his final year of eligibility as a youth bowler and start bowling as an adult, one of our 3 reigning PBAA Players of the Year, Nolan Nash, is making a return to Prodigy Bowlers Tour, this time as the adult partner of Eli Clinklin. They led the field after the A squad bowled this morning, but 3 teams edged them in the afternoon, and they slid all the way down to 4th, edging out our alternates, Kelton Meyer and James Fitzgerald. Kelton, as you will recall, won on Prodigy earlier this month in Division II, but he broke a bone in his non-bowling hand, which would have been no big deal if he was a one-handed bowler, but he's a 2-hander and had to bowl one-handed today, and yet he still almost got in, despite being re-rated up from Division II to Division I. We had a fairly small Division I field today at the KCO, as there was a big scratch tournament going on over at Olathe Lanes East, and many of our players were competing in it. In fact, a number of Prodigy kids you've seen on the show had a stellar performance there at the Youth Scratch Masters Tour event. Caden White won the U18 Boys Division, defeating Caden Ball in the championship match. Other Prodigy kids you've seen before include Isabel Young. Izzy was the runner-up in U18 Girls. Cooper Farmer, who won in September on Prodigy, well, he took top honors in the U15 Mixed Division. And the Haig brothers, Tyler and Tanner, were the champions in the Open Baker Doubles event. So congratulations to all these Prodigy stars on their success. But now we turn our attention to the Division I Championship Round here at the KCO March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. And in our opening match today, it's Eli Clinklin and his adult partner Nolan Nash taking on the 3 seeds, Sean Graham and his father Michael. This is Sean and Michael's first time on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. And in fact, it's their first time bowling in the KCO. Little different format at the Adult Youth Doubles Tournament. We bowl league style. And because it's continuous action, we won't have time for all the replays and coaching tips that I throw out there on most episodes. Sean and Michael, being the higher qualifiers, had the option. They have elected to start on the right lane. They probably want to finish on the left. Here at these KCO doubles events, both players on the team roll a full game, and their score is the total between the 2 players' scores, plus any handicap the adult gets. The youth bowlers, being Division I, they're bowling scratch, but the adults could get handicap. It's 90% of the difference between their entering average and 220. Now we get our first look at Nolan Nash, one of the 3 reigning PBAA Co-Players of the Year. Nolan opting to go adult this year, even though age-wise he had this year of eligibility as a youth bowler. He skipped it. As Michael Graham chops the 2-4-8 off the 5 on his first spare attempt of the match. It results in an open frame. We've added his 1 pin of handicap to his score, so that gets him to 10 in the first. Eli Clinklin goes high, leaving the 6-9-10. Sean Graham, like he's sneaking up on the pins. He goes so slow, and then everything just uncorks at the end of his approach. That is a strong strike to start. Oh, look out. Eli tugged that one a bit. So the 2 teams exchange open frames. And now they switch lanes, and we head to the second frame. With Michael Graham set to go on lane 5. We're on 5 and 6 here at Aaron's Family Fun Center. Well, that messenger just missed the 10 pin, so he'll have a single pin spare to shoot at. And now Nolan Nash going for a double. Oh man, Nolan with all that power gets the messenger to take out the 10, but he leaves the 7. And there is a conversion of the 10 pin by Michael Graham. Nolan taking his time with this 7 pin. He will move to the right side of the approach and go cross lane at the 7. And covers it easily. Now Sean Graham. Very deliberate style, but very effective. Couple of strikes to start. Now Eli Clinklin. Oh! Finally got the 9 to go out, so there's a strike. So now Michael Graham, the one remaining player in this foursome that's still looking for his first strike. And there it is. That's the messenger he was trying to get earlier when he left the 10. But this time he gets it to go. Well, the bowling to our right on 7 and 8, that is Division 2. And the bowlers to our left on 3 and 4, they're Division 3. We'll check out how their step ladders played out at the end of the show. There's another strike by Nolan Nash. Slapping out that 10 pin. And now Sean Graham working on a double. Make that 3 in a row to start. Very nice. And Eli can't get the 10 to fall. Eli says he wants to either be a pro bowler or a mechanical engineer when he grows up. Got interested in bowling watching it on TV. I can relate to that. That's what got me interested in the sport. He covers the 10. Now Nolan Nash. With a strike working, he can cut into the Graham's lead if he can put a double on the board right here. There you go. That number at the bottom of your screen that currently says plus 12, that indicates that somebody is leading by 12, and who it is indicated by the arrow. The arrow is pointing right, so that means the players on the right half of the score sheet, Michael and Sean Graham, they lead by 12. And now Eli Klinkland would love to get a little string of strikes started. That's how you do it. Now Michael Graham for the 10 pin. And he covers it. Michael, who says he works with chicken eggs. Works with chicken and swine vaccines, actually, to be specific. And now Sean Graham. Nothing but strikes so far. Make that 4 in a row. That's how you get your opponent's attention real quick. Oh my goodness. Michael with a light hit that breaks up the 2-7. Boy, those are fun when you can get them. Ooh, those are kind of fun when you can get them too, breaking down the 4-9. I don't know what came across the lane from the right to get the 4. Probably it was the 3 pin, I would guess. Now Sean going for his 5th strike. 5 strikes in 5 frames. Oh my goodness. You don't see Nolan Nash do that very often. He won twice on Prodigy last season. Including the KCO Invitational, which he won for the 2nd year in a row. Oh, we were just talking about breaking down the 4-9. Eli's partner did a moment ago, but Eli leaving both pins, and now he'll have to contend with the split. Gets too much of the 4-pin. So it's an open frame, his second one of the match. And the Grahams now have a lead of 57 pins. Halfway through. What? A pocket 6-10? We got to look again at that. Watch the 6-pin, the second one from the right. That ball was in the pocket. It was a light pocket hit, but it just slid the 6-pin to the right. We'll see it again here. And it ends up in front of the 10-pin. See his reaction to it. He was incredulous. How's that even possible? And then the pin setter knocked over the 6-pin. That'll have to be reset. But when they reset it, they will most likely set it back on its spot. The spot for the 6-pin. So we may be in for a slight delay here. Because they have to contact the counter, who then has to relay the message to the mechanic in the back. Okay, looks like we've got some activity down here. And there's the 6-10. As expected, but it's going to be Michael Graham who goes first, working on a strike. And that will extend their lead to 67 pins. Now Nolan for the spare. He makes short work of it, but would rather not have had to shoot it. All right, Sean Graham. So his string is broken at 5 in a row, as now he leaves the 6-10. And Eli is going to have another 4-9 to contend with. Back-to-back 4-9s. That's no fun. A conversion of the 6-10 by Sean Graham. Oh, you got to be kidding me. He actually slid the 4-pin in front of the 9. You can go 10 years and not see another one of those. Wow, what a bad break. All right, Nolan trying to chip away at the lead by the Grahams, but he's not going to do it that way. Comes in thin, leaves the 2-8. That's no bargain to shoot at. And Michael Graham, like the tide, it just keeps coming in. Another strike. Once again, extending his team's lead. They are now out in front by 88 pins. Oh boy, I tell you what, Nolan almost hooked past. He got a little left of the center of that 2-pin, but still got enough of it that it got the 8. But That was close to being an open frame. All right, Sean up on the right lane. And just stuffs him, man. There's a light shaker that almost left the 410. We're seeing some crazy pinfall here. The 10 did go out. We just saw somebody slide the 5 in front of the 7 over on lane 7. So, yeah, there's crazy pinfall today. Eli covers the 4. We better prepare ourselves for some craziness today. Okay, Nolan airing one out. Sent that one into the weeds. Now Michael has a turkey working. Pulled that one. Nearly went Brooklyn. Leaves the 3 on a high hit. And now Nolan for the 1-2-4. And he covers it with ease. Michael has no problem with the 3-pin. But we're down to the home stretch here. 2.5 frames remaining, with the Grahams holding a commanding 90-pin lead. And I think at this point, Nolan and Eli would just like to get out of here without getting centuried. You know, getting beat by 100. There's a strike for Eli Clinklin. Those have been few and far between. A little high with that one. Sean trying to put another strike on the board, but he'll have to settle for a 9 count and go for the 4-pin. Routine spare. And he covers it. Man, pretty good commercial shot there by Michael. In the pocket, sends the 6 whistling around the neck of the 10-pin. And now Nolan Nash. What? I think even Michael is dumbfounded by that shot. Wow. A stone pocket 7-9. Well, if you're going to make it, this is how you do it. Either this or bounce it out. You can actually make it this way, but you got to cut it so thin that you just get that 9-pin to topple over into the 7. Oh! Well, Nolan gave it a go, but you're going to run past both pins more often than you're going to make that. Let's see how close he came. Pretty close. What do you think, about 1/8 of an inch, maybe? But now, the Grahams' lead is up over 100. 103-pin lead. It's so rare that we see anything like that on Prodigy. And Eli's 8 count there tips the balance of the game. as if there was any doubt. The Grahams have won and will be advancing. Eli and Nolan will make a quick one-and-done appearance. They actually led this tournament after the morning block. And then the afternoon block went out, qualifying, and 3 teams passed them. And they just barely hung on to make the stepladder finals in the 4th position. But they look to be in fantastic shape after the morning block, leading the field. Sean with a cover of the 3-6-10 as mercifully we reach the 10th frame. Michael with a powerful strike right in the hole. I'm impressed with his game. I can see how Sean got interested in bowling, watching his dad. And Nolan wide right with that one. The 2-4-5-8, the bucket. Michael a possible 218 with 2 more strikes. There's one. Nolan just trying to get this over with. Covers the dinner bucket. Yep, sometimes you just got to resign yourself to what's going on and realize it wasn't our day. Strike for 218. And there it is. So a good start to the stepladder for Michael Graham. Here's the kind of pin action we're used to seeing from Nolan, as pins are flying every which way, and they will find a way to knock something down. But Nolan with a rather pedestrian 178. Usually see something much better out of him. Eli going with a backup ball and gets a Brooklyn. Why not? Sean moved in a little bit on that shot, maybe just testing out a different line to see what he's got to go to if he needs to move. Eli with another backup. This time comes in a little thin, leaves the 3-9. Seeing more and more players add a backup ball to their bag of tricks. I'll tell you what, it's not a bad thing to practice. It can come in mighty handy sometimes. Well, Sean fails to convert the washout, but it doesn't matter. Eli covers the 3-9, and this match comes to a halt with a 438 to 343 final score. So Nolan and Eli at least avoided getting centuried, but they're done. And now the Grahams move on to face the Colemans next. If I had told you that we were getting a rare Nolan Nash appearance on Prodigy today, and that he and his doubles partner, no matter who it was, were almost going to get centuried, you know, beat by 100, I don't think you'd have believed me. I don't think I would have believed me. But Sean Graham and his dad Michael just gave Eli and Nolan a spanking. Sean with a 5-bagger out of the gate, while Eli never could quite get lined up. And Nolan had some of the worst breaks I can recall seeing in a while. So while I hope we get to see more of Nolan in future adult youth doubles tournaments at the KCO, I imagine he and Eli are just glad the butt kicking is over. While Michael and Sean Graham advance to match 2, where it's a family affair. The Grahams against the Bowling-Coleman family. You know, I've lost count of how many Bowling-Colemans there are, but this is our first time on Prodigy seeing Cheyenne, Andrew's older sister. And here's a fun fact. Andrew is the only player in our field today who's already won a KCO title on Prodigy Bowlers Tour this season. And so far, there are no multiple winners in the 2024-25 season in Division I. So if Andrew and his partner were to go on and win today, you'd have to say that would give Andrew the inside track on PBAA Player of the Year. But they first have to get past the Grahams. And as we just saw in the previous match, that could be a whole lot easier said than done. The Bowling-Colemans had the choice of starting lanes. They want to finish on the left lane, so Michael and Sean will start off on the left lane. Breaks up the split, but leaves the 9. And now Cheyenne Coleman. Uh-oh. Well, we are seeing some 4-9s, and here's the 6-8, the left-hander's version of the 4-9. Michael almost left the 4-9 on his opening toss. Let's see what Cheyenne can do with this. How about make it? Love it. That's got to pump her up. All right, now, Sean Graham. He began with a 5-bagger last game. This game, he starts by missing the head pin, and once again, a pin slides a bit. That was the 4 pin that got knocked off spot, just enough that it was out of range, and the pin setter knocked it over. So here's Andrew Coleman's opening toss. And he's not shy about sending it to the right. And he misses the head pin as well, leaving the 1-2-4, which is what Sean will eventually end up shooting once the people in the back reset the spare. You should be able to just hit the reset button and have it reset the right spare. It's a good cover by Andrew. These GSX pin setters are smart enough. They should know that if you hit reset, it should respot the pin that got knocked over. But while we wait, we can talk about what's coming up. The KCO April Point Tournament next month in April at Crown Lanes in Leavenworth. Then we've got the KCO May Point Tournament on the 4th of May when we go to St. Joseph and Revolutions Lanes and Fun Center. And finally, the KCO Invitational June 1st at Olathe Lanes East. And of course, there's one more tournament after that, the Prodigy Tournament of Champions, scheduled for June 22nd. There it is. And that'll be at Olathe Lanes East as well. That's 1 week after Father's Day. The Prodigy TOC is open to all KCO winners during the 2024-25 season. So if you won a championship in any of the 5 divisions from September of 2024 through the end of the bowling season this spring, you are invited to enter the Prodigy TOC. And we'll have more information about that coming soon. There's that 1-2-4 we were waiting to have respotted, and Sean covers it easily. Look at Michael. Well, I tell you what, when he hits the pocket, those pins are quick to get out of the way, huh? All right, Cheyenne Coleman. Well, I tell you what, you cover a spare in the first frame, that's the way you follow it up with a solid strike in the second. So that'll let everybody know she's here to play. Oh my goodness. Sean went high, almost Brooklyn, and breaks up to 6-9-10 for a strike. Take them however you can get them. Oh my goodness. Did I say something earlier about some crazy pinfall today? Andrew Coleman just broke up the 2-4-8. Well, this time Cheyenne, a little short of the pocket, whiffs the head pin, leaves the 1-3-6. I think the 9 was in there as well, and the pin setter just swept it away. So we're going to have to wait and get that respotted again. As Michael on a mission just bulldozes the pins. Yep, it was the 1-3-6-9, and look here, the left lane is not wanting to set the 4-pin, so everything has gone haywire on us here. As Brent Whitesell, one of the KCO board members, steps in to try to sort things out in the scoring. And if they need to call the counter to get a spare reset, once again, I think if they hit the reset button, it should respot the pins that were swept away by mistake. Well, this is frustrating for the players because it's hard to get into any kind of rhythm when you're experiencing these kinds of mechanical issues with the pin setters. Kind of makes you long for the days of pin boys. Although I think more and more bowling centers are now just deciding maybe it's just the complexity of the pin setters and we're better off going to string pins. This bowling center has a 6-lane VIP room that they just recently replaced the GSX pin setters with string pin setters, and there's some rumors that they might do it on the rest of the house. Cheyenne chops the 1-3 off the 6-9, but you got to wonder if the delay might have affected her, like calling timeout on a field goal kicker to try to freeze them. That is definitely disconcerting. But now Sean, working on a strike, would love to put a double up on the board right now. But that's not going to happen, as he hooks high and leaves the 6-7-10. Now this is makeable. You got to put the ball way over on the right edge of the 6 pin. Ball will get the 10. You want to slide that 6 across the lane to take out the 7. Yeah, he just borrowed too much. And Andrew takes advantage. He had a strike working, and now with that double, he increases his team's lead to 41. Cheyenne bounces back off of that open frame. Gets a light shaker to carry them all. Now Michael, who has a double up. Uh-oh. Right through the snoot. He leaves the 4-6-7. Now Andrew Coleman. Andrew and his sister both started bowling at the age of 4, although Cheyenne, a good bit older than Andrew. Cheyenne is actually the 3rd oldest of the Bowling Coleman kids, as Michael takes the count, takes a 9-out count on the 4-6-7. The Colemans now lead by 53. Cheyenne is the oldest girl among the Coleman siblings. Well, the 2-5-8, not a spare you can take for granted, and Andrew just showed you why. Another pin sliding off spot. Usually that's an indication that the lanes need to have the back ends stripped. The oil carries down onto the pin deck, and these pins slide around and never tip over. Well, can't say they never tip over, but sometimes they don't. We are seeing an unusually high number of pins that never tip over. They just slide an inch or 2 or 3 and stay standing. And I wouldn't have bet you a dime that that was even possible, given the position of the 3 pin. But he chops the 3-6-9 off the 10 for an open frame, and that just adds to the problem for the Grahams, as the Bowling Coleman lead is now 52. Cheyenne working on a strike. She comes in high and got away with it. Could have been a split, leaves the 4-7. Well, the good thing about bowling in a doubles tournament like this is with 2 players on each team, it's not inconceivable that you can cover a lot of ground in a hurry with 2 bowlers. If you can do that. Michael tripping out the 4-7-9. Cheyenne barely getting the 4-7, but she got it. Andrew cuts that one short. Goes right through the nose and leaves the 3-6-10. Sean with a blower. Gets them all to go. Now, if he and his father can just string a few of those, you never know. Andrew with a difficult conversion. The 3-6-10 goes for him. And now Shy moves back over to the left lane. And there's another light shaker. Tell you what, she's bowling pretty well. Now Michael with a strike up. Double would be big. Not gonna get it, hitting high on the nose. Andrew says he wants to be a pro bowler when he grows up. His favorite player is Anthony Simonson. Michael with a spare. Oh! I thought he had just left a ringing 10, but something got that 10 from behind. I think as that 6-pin was whistling around the 10, it actually tipped it from behind on the way back to the pit. And now we're waiting for another blackout to be resolved. So let's take a break and talk about what's coming up on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Coming up next on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, the Kansas City Open returns to Leavenworth, Kansas, and the bowling center with the dinosaur in the front yard. It's the 2025 KCO April Point Tournament from Crown Lanes in Leavenworth. 1 year ago, Caden White stopped Cody Spangler's march to a title as Caden rang up his second win of the season. Look for episode 188 and 189 of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, coming in April. All right, we have pins to shoot at on the right lane. So Sean Graham working on a strike. Would love to get a double here and maybe start a little comeback. But he comes up high. And if there's going to be a comeback, it's going to have to be put off another frame. The 3-6-9-10. We just saw this spare chopped a couple of moments ago when the 3-pin was off spot. But Sean makes short work of it. Well, just 4 frames left. Michael and Sean need to get busy. That was close. But Michael leaves the 4-pin. And now Cheyenne moves over to the right lane, where once again she's got to strike up. And now she's got a double working. Michael takes out the 4-pin. Well, Andrew Coleman says his best moment in bowling is when he threw his first 300. He also has a 797 series. Throwing a lot of shots like that. And now Sean Graham, his high game, a 289. High series, 777. There you go. That's what he's looking for. Just needs several more. As the Bowling Colemans now own a 73-pin lead here in the 8th frame. Michael plows him over with that one. Cheyenne. She has struck every time on the left lane this match. And now she pushes their lead out to 83 pins with just 2.5 frames left. You would have to say the Colemans are knocking on victory's door here in the semifinal match. Andrew, once again, cutting sharply through the nose. Had a double up. Unable to extend it. And now he's got a tricky spare, the 3-6-9-10. As I mentioned a moment ago, we've seen it a couple of times already. Once it was chopped. There's a strike by Sean Graham. They've still got a big mountain to climb, though, boy, I tell you. That's what makes the 3-6-9-10 so difficult. Not only do you have to carry out the 3, 6, and 10, but you got to hit high enough on the 3 and 6 to get the 9. All right, Cheyenne has 3 strikes up. But now she's left the 3-6-9. It's a little easier for a left-hander than for a right-hander, but it's still not a slam dunk. And look at this. All of a sudden, Michael and Sean Graham have come alive. There's a conversion of a difficult spare by Cheyenne. And remember, the Colemans were leading by 82 pins just a moment ago. In the bottom half of the 8th frame, we're just in the bottom half of the 9th frame now, and their lead has effectively been cut in half already. And Sean with a messenger gets their lead down to 34 pins, and, well, we've got a match now. Andrew says enough already with the talk about a comeback. He's not having it. But I tell you what, in a doubles format, they've still got room. Well, that's the first time Cheyenne has failed to strike on the left lane. But she leaves an easy spare. Now Michael up on the right lane. Slaps out that 10. And there's a turkey, and he just cut the Colemans' lead down to 23. Well, Cheyenne covers the spare. But now Michael with an opportunity to cut the Coleman's lead down to just 13 pins. And all of a sudden, this match gets very interesting. Oh, he crumbles out the bucket. And the 2 falls forward last. Well, well, well. A 7 count for Cheyenne. So she finishes with 239. She certainly did her job this game. But looky here, we have a match that just a 10-pin separation. So obviously count is important even on the fill ball for Michael. Get all you can here. Well, he gets 8. So these 2 teams separated by just 12 pins as the anchor bowlers are up. Oh my goodness. That's the weirdest looking strike I've ever seen. He had the lily standing, the 5-7-10. Watch this. And they all go out. Well, that was huge. That pushes the lead out to 22, and Sean needs to strike here. And does. So it's back to 12 pins. Wow. It's who can perform in the 10th frame. If Andrew can strike here in the 11th, he can just about lock this up. But he's going to let Sean go. Well, then Sean must strike. Oh, and the wall shot won't get the 7. So with the lead now 13, Andrew just needs good count. Boy, he boldly sent that one out to the edge, but a 7 count ought to do it. Yes, it did. So the Colemans have won in what turned out to be a squeaker at the end. Wow. Andrew with the 2-8-10, he does not have to make it. In fact, he doesn't need any of these pins. As the Colemans have already secured the victory, but it wasn't by much. In fact, it was by 8 pins, 433 to 425. And the Colemans have advanced to the championship match, where they'll face Caleb Conroe and his partner, Scott Stroff. In a match that the Colemans led by as much as 83 pins as late as the 8th frame, the Grahams put on a furious charge at the end and closed to within one strike of pulling off one of the greatest come-from-behind wins we've ever seen on Prodigy. But in the end, Sean Graham needed one more strike in the 10th. And even if he'd gotten it, it still would have come down to count with just a pin or two deciding the outcome. But it's Andrew Coleman and his older sister Cheyenne who survived a close one, and now they've advanced to the championship match, where our tournament leaders await them. Caleb Conroe got close to winning the KCO November Point Tournament in Lawrence last fall. He won the first 2 matches against Caden White and Rhett Ryman, but then bowed to Anthony Dokalis in the semifinal match. But today, Caleb's got his not-so-secret weapon, Scott Stroff, by his side. These two have been ham and egging it to perfection all day. Now it's just a question of whether their chemistry can hold up under this intense pressure for one more match. But Andrew Coleman looks ready to become the season's first 2-time winner, and his adult partner Cheyenne looks determined to help him reach that pinnacle. Our tournament leaders look to have selected to finish on the left lane, so Scott is leading off on the right. Oh, and he comes in a little high and breaks up the 6-8-10. Gotta love that one. But I'll tell you what, Cheyenne says, you know, I'll show you how a strike is made right here. She has bowled well today. All right, now, Caleb Conroe, who finished 3rd at the KCO in November after qualifying in the 5th position. And he makes a big strike in the first frame. Andrew makes it a clean sweep. All 4 players start the championship match with a strike. Scott waves Cheyenne on, so she will go. And she comes up a little light with that one. As does Scott. So 3 out of our 4 players in this match are lefties. That's a little unusual. Cheyenne covers the 3-5-6-10. That is one spare you don't want to have to make if you're in a must situation. And now, once again, we always add the player's handicap into their score in the first frame, so strike spare start would be 20 in the first. Cheyenne's 40 gets added in. She has 60 in the first. And now similarly, Scott with a strike spare start, that would be 20 in the first. We've added his 14 pins of handicap in, 34 in the first, and now all the handicap is added in and accounted for. Oh! Andrew gets the whirly bird to take out the 4-pin. Man, these kids can really make the pins move, can't they? All right, Caleb working on a strike. Can cut into the Coleman's lead a little bit with a double. But no, this time the light hit does not take out the 3. so he'll have to shoot it. Now the players on our left, you just saw Josiah Starr leave a stone 8. They are Division III, and over on the right, I believe that's Tyler Gromlovitz there. They are Division II. Tyler is Leah Wilson's adult partner. We'll recap how their stepladders played out when we get to the end of the show today after we interview our winners. And Caleb takes out the 3-pin. No muss, no fuss. Well, Cheyenne says she got started bowling when she was in a Mommy and Me league when she was 4 years old. The Bowling Coleman family starts them young. She pulled that one and misses the head pin on the right, leaving the 1-2-8. And now Scott Stroff finds the pocket, but the 7-pin refuses to cooperate. Cheyenne will move just a little to the right. You want to hit the 1-2, but favor the 2. Well, that favored it a little too much. You got to hit the pin in front on any spare. So there's an open frame. Scott knew that was good as soon as it came off his hand. That is a spare. So he starts strike, spare, spare. And now Andrew Coleman, who has nothing but strikes so far. And that's a turkey to begin this championship match. And now Caleb Coleman, who says he wants to be a PBA bowler when he grows up. Well, he will face a lot of these in his career. If you're a left-hander, you'll leave more 7-pins than anything. Just like a right-hander will leave more 10-pins than anything. Caleb says his best moment in bowling came when he shot his 2 300 games. Uh-oh. This time the ball slips off into the channel as he attempts to cover the 7-pin, and that's an unforced error. So the Coleman family lead is now 45 pins, just 3 frames into the championship match. Scott Stroff finds the pocket. This time all 10 go down. He's got to like that one. And we wait here for something. What are we waiting for? Oh, there's a mistake in the scoring overhead inside the bowling center. The score you see on your screen is correct. Well, Cheyenne says her favorite pro bowler is Norm Duke. And her best moment in bowling was when she got to bowl with some of the pros. That's always fun. Pulled it, but it's set like a frozen rope or a rocket to the pocket. And Cheyenne Coleman registers a strike in the fourth frame. And now Caleb Conroe will try to bounce back after that whiffed 7-pin in the third. But another light hit. This time he leaves the 3-pin with company. The 3 and the unwelcome 9 hiding behind it. Andrew with the light hit. Shakes him up. Gets them all to go. And he's perfect through 4 frames. Caleb converts the 3-9. What, me worry? Thank you, Alfred E. Newman. Scott is going to wave Cheyenne on. Both these two players working on a strike. Well, Cheyenne nearly broke it all down, had the 3-5-6 standing, but the 5 and 6 go. She has just the 3. Scott plants one right in the hole. And that double will cut into the Coleman's lead a bit. Oh, look out. Well, Shy pulled that one to the right and misses an easy spare. You have to consider that an unforced error. As Caleb Conroe back up on the right lane, looking for his second strike of the match here in the 5th frame. Pulled it. Nearly missed the head pin to the right. So we really haven't seen Caleb's best so far this match. Andrew, on the other hand, has 4 strikes in a row. But he can't deliver the 5th as that ball hooks through the nose and leaves a testy little split, the 9-10. Oh, Caleb chops the 3 off the 4. So that's his second open frame out of the first 5. All right, Andrew's got to fit the ball right between these 2 pins. How about that? Nice shot. And that maintains their 45-pin advantage. All right, Cheyenne back up on the right lane. She will try to bounce back from that open. Hold it. Oh, but she gets the Brooklyn. Tripping the 4. And Scott now on a roll. That's a turkey for him as he gets the messenger. And now our 2 youth bowlers taking their time as it's starting to get a little tight. Andrew cuts sharply through the nose and leaves the 3-6. Caleb, whose partner has caught fire, he would like to join him now. But that one's just a little high, can't quite trip the 6. So he will have to patiently wait for his next chance for a strike. as Andrew covers his spare, the 3-6. So he goes 4 in a row and then back-to-back spares. Whoa! Good thing for Caleb, they put that extra coat of paint on that pin. All right, Scott trying to extend his string of strikes and cut into the Coleman's lead. Oh, and he gets the light shaker to backdoor the 3-pin. That was big. Cheyenne, though, with a strike of her own up. Oh, but she goes right through the nose and leaves the 4-6-7. That's not what she hoped for. And now Caleb up in the 7th. He hasn't struck since the first frame. There you go. There's the light shaker. Well, there's not much Cheyenne could have done with the 4-6-7. But I know she would have liked to have gotten those 2 to at least get better count. Anytime you're on a strike, whatever you leave standing counts double against you. So the Coleman's lead is down to just 7 pins now. Oh, man. That time the messenger got misdirected and somehow missed the 10-pin. He gives up a pin in count. The lead now 6. Oh, that did not look like a bad shot coming off her hand. Maybe she let up on the speed just a little bit, but she leaves the 6-8-10. She made the 6-8 earlier. And Andrew whiffs the 10-pin, and that hands the lead to the team of Scott Stroff and Caleb Conroe, as Cheyenne comes close to converting the 6-8 again, but just runs by the 6, and that's another open frame, and now the lead is 17 for Scott and Caleb. Scott's string of strikes ends at 4 as he leaves a ringing 7, but his team now in the lead. And that changed fast. I mean, Andrew Coleman started with a 4-bagger, and Scott answered it with a 4-bagger of his own later in the match. But now he gives some pins back, whiffing the 7-pin. We've seen a couple of those missed. All right, Andrew would like to start another little string of strikes right here. And that's how you do it. But now Caleb, who went without a strike for 5 frames, would like to get a double here. He gave that one plenty of room. That one got out to about 2 or 3 at the break point. And the lead by Scott Stroff and Caleb Conroe is now 14 pins as these two teams head into the 9th frame. Cheyenne will try to break her string of opens with those back-to-back splits. Oh, but she goes through the nose again. She pulled it. And that's the 4-6-10. Goodness gracious. And look at this. Scott Stroff comes up a little thin, and that ball didn't have much on it when it reached the pins. Deflection, and he leaves the 5, 6, 10. A very difficult split. Well, Shy does what she can with the 4, 6, 10. She takes the count, but that's 3 opens in a row. And Scott wide with his attempt at the 5, 6, 10, so he's open in the 9th. Look at this. Here we are in the bottom of the 9th frame. These two teams separated by just 13 pins. This is anybody's match. Oh! Right through the heart. Andrew leaves the Greek church. The 4, 6, 7, 9, 10. Oh, and Caleb nearly had the 6, 8. Somehow the 8 was taken out, and he has a much more makeable spare here than Andrew. Andrew will go for the 3 on the right and hope for the best. Well, he gets 8 out, but that is an open frame, and the lead for Scott and Caleb grows to 26, assuming Caleb converts this single pin spare. And he takes care of it easily. So we're down to the 10th frame in the championship match. Scott Stroff and Caleb Conroe own the lead, 26 pins. I think if they just stay clean, they're going to have a pretty good chance. But Scott whiffs the head pin, leaves the 1, 3, 9. That's not what he was hoping for. All right, Cheyenne, let's see if she can find the pocket again. Pulled it. Well, she gets a piece of the head pin. Leaves a makeable spare, the 2, 4, 5. Scott covers the 1, 3, 9. And now Cheyenne going for the 2, 4, 5. Oh, it doesn't get up. And she sends the 2 in front of the 5. So she opens in the final 4 frames, finishes with a 164. Scott fills 7 on his fill ball. So we get down to the final players, the 2 youth bowlers. And Caleb Conroe in the driver's seat with a 34-pin lead for his team. He's just going to need good count on the first ball. Andrew with a big strike, and got to figure in his mind at least that's going to keep hope alive, but Caleb may be able to just slam the door on him right here with a good shot of his own. I think 9 will do it. And with that ball, Caleb Conroe has won on Prodigy Bowlers Tour. He and his partner Scott Stroff get it done. I think Caleb is going to have to admit that Scott kind of carried him in this championship match. That 4-bagger in the middle of the game was huge in turning this match around. They trailed halfway through this match by quite a bit. He covers the 7. When Caleb was on the show a few months ago, his spare ball gave me the heebie-jeebies. He was hooking even his spare ball so much that, well, he missed a couple of 7 pins that day. but he has straightened it out a little bit. And he gets it done today with a win. He finishes with a 182, and that's enough for a 397 to 363 victory over the Bowling Coleman family. So, guess who's going to be signing the coveted trophy pin? Caleb and Scott. You'll meet them next. Another match that swung hard in one direction, only to swing even harder the other way before the final ball was rolled. The Colemans led by 55 pins midway through the match, but a string of splits by Cheyenne and a string of strikes by Scott completely changed the complexion of the match. Sometimes this game can turn when you least expect it. Still, as the two teams entered the 10th frame, the outcome was still in doubt and could have gone either way. But it was Caleb Conroe and his adult partner Scott Stroff who made the shots they needed to take the title at the end. And so they're the ones who'll be signing the coveted trophy pin. Let's get you down to the lanes to meet them. Early in the season, we thought we might see this guy in the winner's circle, but he was stopped one match short. But you got it done today. Ladies and gentlemen, Caleb Conroe, the winner in the adult youth doubles tournament, along with his partner,
Scott Stroff.
Scott Stroff, who I hear has basically given Caleb all of his bowling balls. You get done with one, it's like, Caleb can make some use of this.
He does. He does a real good job with it.
He made pretty good use of at least one today.
Yeah.
Did you use the same ball all day?
Yep, I did, surprisingly.
What were you throwing?
It's the Evanite 1 remix.
Okay, because our viewers always ask me, what ball are they throwing?
Yeah.
And I never know the answer.
I know mine's just a Storm. I don't know which one it is, though.
Well, you both threw it really well, whatever it was. And so what happened today that was different for you?
I don't know, we just brought in energy, and this guy, he helped a lot, He played a big role in helping today's win, so it was a really good day.
So, be honest, who carried who?
I think he carried me the second game. We pretty much evened out the whole day.
Now, full disclosure, during qualifying, somebody whispered in my ear and said, Caleb Conroe is the front eight. And so I came down with my iPhone and I got your 9th strike. And then I got a real good position to film your 10th frame.
Yeah.
And what'd you do?
Went a little bit high and left the 4-7.
Yeah, well, and what did I say to you afterwards?
You said that you jinx people when you walk down.
I jinx people when I bring my camera to get their final shots in a potential 300. So my profound apologies to you for that. Anyway, so by winning on Prodigy Bowlers Tour, or actually winning any KCO tournament, you have qualified for the Prodigy Tournament of Champions, which will be held one Sunday after Father's Day at Olathe Lanes East. And of course, your ticket in is your signature on the coveted trophy pin.
All right.
So put your name on there with today's date, March 23rd.
Put it up here.
Up there, all right.
Scott, you're signing it too. However, you are not eligible for the Prodigy Tournament of Champions. You're eligible to come watch.
Yeah.
323.
23.
I've had my eye on you for a while, Caleb Conroe. I had a feeling we might be here one day.
All right, you go and sign it.
Scott is going to put his name on there too.
I'm going to lay mine down though and do it sideways.
You sign it standing on your head if you want to. I don't care. And I think right now Caleb is thinking you can sign it any way you want. But there we are, our winners at the KCO March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament in Belton, Missouri.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier in the show, the bowlers to our left on lanes 3 and 4 were the players in Division 3. Here's how their stepladder played out. In the opening match, the number 3 qualifiers, Liliana Gentlemark and her adult partner John Malum, Curtis's father, defeated the 4 seeds, Tristan Warnke and his adult partner Johnny Warner, 404 to 388. Then in match 2, it was the number 2 qualifiers, Josiah Starr and his adult partner Dennis Neal, who put an end to Liliana Gentlemark and John Malum's day in a tight match, 379 to 370. But in the championship match, the tournament leaders, Adam Wilson and his dad Russ, got the best of Josiah and Dennis, winning the Division III title 422 to 402. So congratulations to Adam Wilson and his dad Russ Wilson. And as I mentioned earlier, the bowlers who were in the periphery to our right today on lanes 7 and 8 were the Division II group. And here's how their stepladder shook out. Adam Wilson's older sister, Leah Wilson, and her adult partner, Tyler Gromlovitz, were the 4th qualifiers. They've won this event a few times already, and last year, Tyler set the house record here at Aaron's Family Fun Center. In the opening match today, they faced the 3 seeds, Avery Lovegren and one of her older brothers, Tyler Lovegren. It was Leah Wilson and Tyler Gromlovitz who took that match, 415 to 385. Then in match 2, Leah and Tyler discovered they weren't quite done with the Lovegren family, as Prodigy alum Colby Lovegren was bowling as the adult partner of Colton Boob. But it was Leah and Tyler who took match 2, 451 to 362. And in the championship match, Leah Wilson and Tyler Gromlovitz polished off another win at the KCO Adult Youth Doubles Tournament, defeating the tournament leaders Zion Dawson and his adult partner Tyler Guide, 431 to 375. It was the second tournament in a row that Zion held the pole position heading into the stepladder finals, and the second time in a row that he had to settle for second. So congratulations to Leah Wilson and Tyler Gromlovitz on their Division II title, and an even bigger congratulations to the Wilson family on taking home not 1, but 2 KCO titles today in Division II and Division III. On our last episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, we showed you the Division V finals, where Dwight Criswell and his adult partner Fred Gordon Sr. took the title, and we told you about how Atarius Whitmill and his adult partner Kim Ramsey took the Division IV title. So congratulations to all 5 division champions this weekend at the 2025 KCO March Adult Youth Doubles Tournament, including our winners on today's show, Caleb Conroe and his adult partner Scott Stroff. On our next 2 episodes of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, we'll be back at Crown Lanes in Leavenworth, Kansas. You know, the bowling center with the dinosaur in the front yard, for the 2025 KCO April Point Tournament. If you'd like to bowl in an upcoming KCO event, visit their website at www.kansascityopen.com, where you'll find everything you need to know to enter. If you enjoyed the show today, leave a thumbs up on the video, smash that subscribe button, and ring the notification bell to receive notifications whenever we post new content. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below. We just ask that you not post spoilers, you know, comments that give away what happens. If you'd like to support the work that goes into the creation of each episode of Prodigy Bowlers Tour, become a Prodigy patron. Go to www.patreon.com/Prodigy Bowlers Tour, and for as little as $5 a month, you'll get early access to all our full-length shows. And for just $10 a month, you'll not only get early access, but you'll also get your name in the show's closing credits as an executive producer. and you'll have my undying gratitude for supporting the work. To keep up with all things Prodigy, join our Facebook group. From any page on Facebook, type the words Prodigy Bowlers Tour into the search bar and hit enter. That'll take you to the page where you can submit a request to join the group. Just answer the 3 screening questions and you'll be approved. So that's a wrap from Aaron's Family Fun Center in Belton, Missouri. Once again, we'll be coming to you from Leavenworth next month at the KCO April Point Tournament. So until then, this is Coach Randy reminding you to stay behind the foul line and keep kicking out the corner pins, not the foul lights or ball returns. And I'll talk to you on our next edition of Prodigy Bowlers Tour. Now, go get your bowl on.